Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about she texted me, should I ask her out? So a lot of you guys that are going through a breakup, I know it's an emotional roller coaster and you're going through a lot of different feelings. You're really worried about the outcome. We become very outcome dependent in situations like this because our anxiety level is just through the roof and it's causing us to go into primal panic, and we just feel this terror that if we don't reunite with our loved one, it's going to die. So that's why we're so worried about doing everything perfectly, and it can cause you to make very easy mistakes and overthink the very simple things. Like when I always talk to you guys about the indirect direct approach. If a girl broke up with you and she contacts you for any reason, it means she wants you to ask her out. She wants to see what's going on with you. She wants to see what's going on in your life. And you want to be ready for that. But a lot of times that situation can come up and you're like, is now the right moment? Is now the right moment? You don't know when. And you can easily let that moment go by. So I have a good email from somebody who knew the strategies, but when it came time, he fumbled the football. And then he made another mistake, and we're at a point where he could turn it around if he handles this properly. Now, the problem with this situation is this really a girl he should turn it around with? Let me get to the email. So he says, we officially broke up a year and a half ago. We had got extremely tight bond. She can be very critical. She gets it from her mother. She start nitpicking about everything. This is a major red flag for me, guys. Major, major, major. This tells me right away this woman has an avoidant attachment style. By the way, she's in her early 30s, so is he. Just to give you an idea. Now, I'm not going to go into attachment styles too much in this video, if you don't know what they are. But what's going on here is when you have somebody that's this critical, they usually have an avoidant attachment style. That's a red flag for me right away. So I highly recommend you guys watch my videos on the avoidant attachment styles to get an understanding what goes on when you date those people, because it can be a real challenge. And you're going to see this. But so far we've got a woman that is very critical of him. It's interesting because the first sentence he says, we had a really tight bond, and literally the next sentence jumps into, she was really critical of me all the time. So that just goes to show you how critical she was. Now the question is, why is he attracted to her? My guess is she's very similar to his mother, probably. Could be father. Gut tells me mother. And so that's why he has an anxious attachment style, because his mom was critical. And so he always felt insecure around her. And now this girl gives him the same feelings of insecurity. So it triggers that feeling of familiarity that we have, and he's drawn to her. That's why he's so attracted to her. So let me go on with the email. He said she even admitted that after they broke up and hadn't talked in a year to her friend that her and I never broke up over anything serious that couldn't be repaired. If that's the case, why didn't she try and repair it the first time around? Think about it. And the answer is probably because she has an avoidant attachment style. When we were hanging out a few months ago and got into a disagreement, I asked her, if you find every little thing wrong with me, then why are you here? Her response was, I fell for you because of your core. You're everything I always wanted and been looking for in a man on a core level. Of course, I got confused even more. She would rather pick apart the 20% I'm not then focus on the 80%. She got what she wanted in a man. I dated a woman exactly like this. When you're just dating somebody that has an avoidant attachment style, they are always looking for reasons to push you away. They can't handle intimacy. In their early childhood with their caregivers, they experienced a lot of pain with attachment. They didn't feel happy and love and warm and tingly and all that great stuff. They had abuse, neglect, abandonment. They learned not to trust people. So they can't handle this closeness and they sabotage the relationship. I mean, he's right. A secure person would focus on the 80%. And that is what people that have a secure attachment style do, is they focus on the things that you do right and they overlook the little things that they don't like about you. With the dismissive person, it's the opposite. They focus on what you do wrong and they ignore what you do right. Because for them, it's like those little things that you do wrong just keep setting off these triggers that you're going to hurt them just like their caregivers did. Right? It's setting off all those triggers. He's going to hurt me just like my mom. He's going to hurt me just like my dad. Now, they're not consciously thinking that because the avoidant person, they don't think about these things. They dismiss them. They ignore them. They sweep it under the rug. So, let me go on here. He says, by the way, I'm only her second boyfriend. She was in a 3-year relationship with a booty call situation for 7 or 8 years with a guy about 13 years her senior, and then came me. So this girl had a booty call situation for 7 or 8 years? What? Who does that? Who would put their life on hold for 7 or 8 years for somebody you're only just casually having sex with? Not somebody that has a secure attachment style, and not somebody that has an anxious one either, because the anxious person is going to want intimacy and they're going to fear being alone. And the secure person is going to want a healthy relationship, not just sex, especially for 7 or 8 years, right? I'm not sure what language he is, but his language is a little broken here, so it's tough to read sometimes. That's why I'm struggling with this somewhat. Because it says, she been on date with several guys, but only became official with me and her first boyfriend out of high school. I believe she picks them apart. LOL. She says she doesn't chase anyone and moves on when it's done, but for some reason, she can't seem to let me go fully. See, it's a little bit tough to read there, so I get the gist of it. She picks everyone apart. Now, here's a really interesting fact. The complaints that she's having about you are really the things that she doesn't like about herself. I'm going to let that sink in for a minute, because that's what people tend to do. The things that they don't like about you are really the things that they haven't accepted and like about themselves. And for her, it's probably quite a bit. That's why she's so critical. Because she doesn't accept those flaws within herself, so she criticizes them in other people. And my ex used to do this with me all the time. She would say terrible things that were completely untrue. And at first, I just would be like, I don't understand why you're saying this. And I would look to see if she was accurate. Like, was I doing, like if she said I was selfish, I'd be like, am I being selfish? And I would look at the behavior in the situation. And then I'm like, she's being selfish. I'm not being selfish. I'm being generous and giving. And over time, and because I have an amazing supervisor who helps me understand all this stuff, I realized she was projecting all that stuff onto me that she didn't like about herself. It wasn't me. Because if it was, I would take responsibility, I'd own it, and I'd work on it. That's what an adult does. People that are not acting like an adult, they twist reality, they warp things, and They do all kinds of unhealthy behaviors in the relationship. They do it with a lot of their things in their life too. So I asked him how he handled the breakup, and he said, she originally broke up with me, and like a dummy, I tried to chase her and tried to convince her to come back. We hung out a few more times, but as you can already know, it eventually ended. Yeah, of course, because the begging, the pleading, all that stuff does not cause attraction. They feel trapped even more, and they just push you away. Alright. So we had a little bit of a summary here. She wanted to remain friends. He told her he wasn't interested and to call him if she changed her mind. Good job, he handled that right. He deleted her from social media account. I wouldn't have done that. But, you know, that's up to you. I would have just unfollowed her. But, you know, every situation is different. You go with what feels right for you. A year later, he reached out. I broke the rules, he says, and we started talking again. I mean, it's been a year, so I guess no harm, no foul. I mean, if you haven't heard from somebody in a year and you throw them a text, I mean, see how it goes, right? Like I say, every situation is different. Typically, I wouldn't say reach out, but it's been a year, so what happened? They started talking again. First time we went out, we were holding hands and making out by the end of the night. Her interest picked up, but over the next several weeks, she was hot and cold with me. Yes, because she can't handle intimacy. Now, I don't know what your behaviors were. You didn't tell me if you were texting her or pursuing her too much. But when she feels too close to somebody, she starts to feel smothered, and then she pushes them away. She probably felt too close to you, and then would start to distance herself and do little things to sabotage the relationship. When she started doing that, I back contact her. In that 10-week time span, I started dating another girl. She got wind of it by seeing a posted picture of a girl I was out with. A day and a half later, she put up a revenge pic and took it down an hour later. She didn't even look interested in the guy in the picture and hasn't posted a picture with another guy since. Well, it sounds like she may have been playing a little bit of a game. Probably a little bit of a revenge pic. You would know. Go with your gut. It could be just a coincidence, but it sounds like it was a little bit of a, well, I'm going to show you type deal. Alright, this is where I feel like he really stumbled and made a mistake. After about 10 weeks of radio silence, she sends a motivational quote via Instagram. I knew what time it was, Coach. I didn't ask her out because I wanted to be sure, and I felt like she was interested in me, she would text me directly. Even if it was a silly indirect direct text. No! No! What are you doing? This is the indirect direct approach. I told you guys, it always confuses you. It's always going to leave you wondering. That was it. That was her indirect direct approach. Even though it was through Instagram, the motivational quote. She wanted to see how you would handle it. If she's got a dismissive or avoidant attachment style, by the way, dismissive is a type of avoidant attachment style. If she has an avoidant attachment style, she's going to send a text like that to confuse you. That's like, I'm not interested, but I'm wanting to see what you're up to. But because she really is interested. And you blew it. You blew it because you wanted more. You wanted a more obvious indirect direct approach. But that's not how it's going to happen. It's always going to leave you confused. So I would have messaged her back on that and said, "Oh, that's really interesting," or "That's a great quote," and "How are you?" There you go. Opens it right up. Here's the next mistake. A week later, I wished her happy birthday via text. And a few days after that, she sent me another motivational quote again. I wouldn't have sent her that birthday text. If you wanted to talk to her when she reached out the first time, you have to be ready for that, guys. When they reach out for you that first time, you want to initiate a conversation with her, act casual, and then be like, hey, you want to hang out? We should get together. Alright. But then he went and sent her a birthday text. I wouldn't have done that. Alright. It got quiet for about 2 weeks of no contact. Then I sent her a funny joke via Instagram and backed off. Yesterday I posted a pic on Instagram about going to this winter resort to chill and have fun. She directly commented on my picture and we started joking with one another for a second. So what's going on, dude? I mean, I wouldn't have sent her that Instagram thing, but she contacted you again. Instead of joking around with her, make a couple of jokes. And then, how are you? How are things? What's going on? We should get together. Don't dither, guys. I know you guys are scared of the rejection and you're worried about the outcome, but when a woman contacts you and it's been months, it's because she's interested. Think about it. People don't reach out unless they're interested. A woman that has no interest is not going to text you. She's not going to send you an Instagram quote or anything else. So, you got to be ready for these situations when they happen. Okay? Come get my help personally. When you're in this situation, don't wait. Get on it right away so I can help you come up with a plan. You can tell me what's going on. Every breakup is different. Go to my website, askcraig.net, and sign up for the coaching. I will get with you as soon as possible. We can get, something going, come up with a plan, and I'll help you. Because that's what I'm here for, guys. You don't want to keep watching the videos, and then when it comes down to it, you do the opposite of what I tell you. And I've got guys that I talk to every day that they don't stick with the plan. You got to stick with the plan. I know what I'm talking about here. I always put myself in your situation when you guys come to my help, and I imagine how I would handle it if I was you. So I really do care about what you're going through, and I really want to be there for you. But if you're confused at all, get my help. That's why I'm here. Alright? So, if you like this video and you found it helpful, put a like on there. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because I post videos Monday through Friday. And when you want to get my help personally, askcraig.net. Right on the center of the home page, it says schedule coaching. You can pick whatever option works best for you. I'm Kenneth, and I will talk with you soon.